Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Psalms. Today we're in Psalm 29, and in this psalm, we are going to have David giving a message of praise and adoration to the Lord, but also telling us that we need to do the same thing. And so you're going to see, again, it's not a very long psalm in these few verses of the psalm, the fact that he's going to call out for what we should give to the Lord, but then he's also going to talk about what the Lord is able to do. So let's look at Psalm 29. Beginning in verse 1, we read these words: Give unto the Lord, O you mighty ones, give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due to his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord is over many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. Yes, the Lord splinters the cedars of Lebanon. He makes them also skip like a calf, Lebanon and Syrian like a wild young ox. The voice of the Lord divides the flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shakes the wilderness. The Lord shakes the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth, and strips the forest bare. And in his temple everyone says, Glory. The Lord sat enthroned at the flood, and the Lord sits as king forever. The Lord will give strength to his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. In this particular psalm, David is really going out to show the glory and the power of God. But he begins the psalm by talking about the importance of giving to the Lord. You know, there's a lot of people who think when they think of giving to the Lord, they think of monetary gifts because that's what is oftentimes asked of people in our world today, that the money is what it is that is important. And yet, nowhere in all of this does David talk about financial giving to the Lord, but rather he talks about what it is that the Lord is worthy of receiving from us. And that is in verse 2, he says, Give to the Lord the glory due to his name. Everything that God has done, and all of the different ways that God has shown himself and proven himself and been there for man and watched over and kept man, he is worthy of the glory and the honor that is due him. Give unto the Lord the glory due to his name. Worship the Lord, he says at the end of verse 2, in the beauty of holiness. It is giving him the praise and the adoration that's due, but doing it from the standpoint of a pure and holy heart, one that is devoted to serving him. You know, all of the words in the world mean nothing to God if our heart's not behind them. And therefore, we have to be willing to give to the Lord what is his due. And we need to be ones who do it joyously and willfully. For doing it begrudgingly is not going to have an impact, and it's not going to be what the Lord is worthy of. And so, first of all, David talks about the importance of giving to the Lord. That doesn't mean that the other types of giving and the other things of giving don't matter. But what it does mean is that first and foremost, God seeks to be glorified. And those things which he has done and those things which he has made are meant to glorify him. The second thing that David spends much of the psalm discussing is the voice of the Lord. And what he talks about is the power of God. The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaks the cedars. when you go back to the elements of creation, you have, and God said. And in all of God's dealings with Israel and so forth, it was all based upon the voice of the Lord that illustrated his power, from which all of his might and majesty is brought forth. God utilizes his voice in order to be able to communicate with man, yes, but also to be able to illustrate his power over his creation. And so here David is going to magnify, he is going to lay out for us the power of God as seen through the voice of the Lord. As a matter of fact, it is stated, and in his temple everyone says glory, for the things that God can do through the voice of the Lord. In the third place, at the end of the psalm, I want to point out just something interesting that is stated in verse 10, because there David says that the Lord sat enthroned at the flood. The idea of sitting enthroned is he sat on his throne. He illustrated the fact that he is on the throne at the time of the flood. At the time of the flood in the days of Noah in Genesis chapter 6 through 9. David says that the Lord showed his place on his throne by means of the things that transpired with the flood. So what do we give? We give glory and honor and praise to God by means of a heart that is fully devoted and trusting in him. We recognize, David says, the power of God, and by means of the voice of the Lord and the things that God has done by means of what he has said and what he has given. And then we recognize the place where God sits, that the Lord sat enthroned. The Lord was found in his place at the time of the flood. And he sits, the end of verse 10 says, as king forever. These are some of the things that I found in Psalm 29. I hope that they're beneficial to you. Next time we'll come back and we'll begin looking at Psalm 30. I hope you'll join us then. But until then, have a great day.